The battlefield was silent except for the faint crackling of fires that burned in the ruins of metal walls and broken ships. The war between humans and aliens had left the ground painted with ash and blood. Smoke rose slowly into the sky, and the air smelled of burned iron and dust. In the middle of this wasteland, a human soldier moved carefully, his boots pressing against the cracked ground. His eyes scanned every shadow, his hand tight on his weapon. He was not looking for enemies now. The fight was already over. He was looking for survivors. His orders were simple: search the fallen area for life. Yet he knew this was dangerous. Many traps still waited, and many wounded could become enemies again. Still, he could not leave without trying. As he stepped inside a broken alien shelter, his eyes caught movement. At first he thought it was a trick of the smoke, but then he saw her. Lying on the ground, half covered in rubble, was an alien girl. Her skin, once bright green, had turned pale gray. Her silver-white hair was tangled with dirt and blood. She was breathing, but only barely. For a moment he froze. His training told him to leave her. She was the enemy. Her people had killed countless humans. She would have killed him without hesitation if she were strong. Yet now, seeing her fragile form trembling in pain, something inside him refused to walk away. The human dropped his weapon and rushed forward. He pulled the heavy debris off her body. Her chest rose weakly. Her eyes flickered open. Her lips moved, whispering words he could not understand. But her voice carried fear, desperation, and pain. He looked around for medical supplies. His pack had bandages, water, and a small healing kit. He tried everything he could, sealing her wounds, pressing the patches against her torn skin. But nothing worked. Her body continued to weaken. Her pulse slowed. Her breaths grew thin. Panic struck him. He was trained to fight, not to heal. He knew she was dying, and yet he could not let go. His mind raced, searching for answers. Then he remembered the last desperate measure: blood transfusion. Human blood carried unique strength. Their bodies were adaptable, resistant, and strange even to advanced alien science. Maybe, just maybe, it could save her. He pulled a sharp tool from his kit. His hand trembled. He had never done this before, but he had no choice. He opened his arm and let his blood flow into a small tube, attaching it to her vein with shaking hands. The crimson liquid of humanity entered her alien body. For a moment, nothing happened. He feared it was useless. Her body jerked once, then stilled. He almost tore the line away, but then her chest heaved. Her eyes shot open, glowing faintly with a strange light. Her lips parted in a gasp. She was alive. But something was wrong. The glow in her eyes was not normal. Her veins shimmered faintly under her skin, pulsing with energy. Her breathing became stronger. Faster. She clutched the sheets beneath her fingers. Her voice trembled as she whispered in her own language. The words filled with disbelief. The human soldier stared, his heart pounded. He had saved her, but at what cost? What was happening inside her? He could feel it in his gut. This was no ordinary healing. Something greater, something dangerous had begun. She turned her head slowly and looked at him. For the first time their eyes met, not as enemies, but as two beings tied by blood. Her gaze was sharp yet weak, questioning. His throat went dry. He wanted to speak, but words failed him. All he could do was watch as she slowly closed her eyes. Again, her chest rising steadily now, the silence in the ruined shelter felt heavy. He had crossed a line. He had done what no human should have done. He had given his blood to an alien. He could not predict the consequences. Was she truly saved? Or had he created something far beyond his control? Outside, the war-torn world groaned. Metal creaked as distant fires ate away at broken ships. The soldier sat beside her, his hand still pressed against the blood tube, his own arm bleeding lightly. He did not feel pain. His mind was only filled with one thought. He had saved her life, but the universe might never be the same again. And as the light flickered against the walls, shadows moving like restless spirits, the soldier knew one truth. This was only the beginning. The alien girl opened her eyes slowly. The world around her was blurry. Shapes of broken walls and dim lights came into focus. The air smelled of rust, smoke, and blood. For a moment she thought she was still trapped on the battlefield, but then she realized she was lying on a rough bed inside a small hidden shelter. Her body felt different. There was strength in her chest that had not been there before. Her breathing was steady. Her skin glowed faintly with a green shimmer. She moved her hand, surprised at the energy flowing through her veins. It was not the weakness of someone close to death. It was something else. The human soldier sat near her. His face was pale with exhaustion. Blood still stained his arm where he had cut himself. His eyes watched her carefully, wary but also filled with relief. He did not speak at first. He waited, letting her gather strength. Finally, her lips moved. Her voice was soft and broken. "Why?" she whispered. Her accent was heavy, her words halting but understandable. "Why save me?" The human leaned forward. His voice was steady. "Because life is worth saving." The alien girl blinked at him, confusion in her glowing eyes. Her people had taught her that humans were selfish, weak, and cruel, yet this man had risked his life for her. Even given her his blood, she did not understand it, and that frightened her more than death. Hours passed slowly inside the shelter. The soldier tried to keep her calm. He gave her water, covered her with a blanket. He spoke little, but his presence was steady, reassuring. Still, the girl began to notice something strange. Her body was not only recovering, it was changing. Her heartbeat grew louder in her ears. Her temperature rose. Heat spread through her chest and arms. Her hands shook, not from weakness but from energy she could not control. She felt alive in a way she had never known, yet at the same time, her veins burned as if fire flowed inside her. The soldier noticed her trembling. He leaned closer, concern in his eyes. "What's happening?" he asked. She shook her head, unable to answer. Her words caught in her throat. She did not know how to describe it. It felt like her body was rejecting something, and yet also embracing it. Her eyes glowed brighter in the dim room. The light in them reflected off the metal walls. The human stared, unsettled but also fascinated. He had seen many wounded aliens in battle, but never one who looked like this. It was as if her blood itself had awakened with new power. The alien girl clutched her chest. Gasping, the soldier reached out, steadying her shoulders. She could feel his warmth, his strength. The human's blood inside her pulsed harder, almost in rhythm with his touch. It frightened her, but it also made her feel connected to him, in a way she could not explain. "Stay with me," he said firmly. His voice cut through her panic. She met his eyes, and for the first time, she saw no hatred, no fear, only determination. He was ready to fight for her survival, even though she was his enemy. Her body calmed slowly. Her breathing steadied again. The burning in her veins faded, leaving behind a strange warmth. She lay back against the bed, trembling but alive. She realized something important. She was not the same person she had been before the battle. The human's blood had not only saved her, it had changed her. She touched her arm, feeling the faint pulse under her skin. It was stronger, faster, almost unnatural. She closed her eyes and whispered in her own language, "What am I becoming?" The human could not understand her words, but he saw the fear on her face. He stayed beside her, silent but steady. His presence alone was an answer. She was not alone. The hours stretched into night. The shelter grew quiet, except for the sound of machines humming faintly. The soldier did not leave her side. He watched her as she drifted into uneasy sleep, his mind heavy with questions. He wondered what he had done. Had he saved her, or had he created something beyond his understanding? He knew one thing with certainty. This was only the beginning of something far greater. As the alien girl slept, her body glowed faintly with light under her skin. The soldier's eyes narrowed. His instincts warned him that the war outside was nothing compared to the storm now growing inside this fragile room. And in the silence, with the night pressing close, the human whispered to himself, "What have I done?" The next morning, the alien girl sat up slowly. Her body still felt strange. The glow in her skin had not faded. In fact, it was brighter. Her hands trembled as she looked at her reflection in a broken metal shard lying nearby. Her eyes glowed. Faintly, her veins pulsed with light under her skin. She hardly recognized herself. The human soldier, sitting close by, noticed her expression. He spoke carefully. "You are stronger today." She nodded but did not answer. She was afraid of her own strength, afraid of what was happening inside her. The shelter door opened, and two other humans entered. They were scientists attached to the squad, carrying scanning tools and small medical kits. The soldier had called them during the night, hoping they could explain what was happening. The scientists began scanning her body. Their faces shifted from confusion to disbelief. The readings made no sense. One of them whispered, "Her body is adapting to human blood." The other shook his head. "Not only adapting, something else is awakening inside her." The girl could not understand all of their words, but she saw their fear. Their eyes were wide, their hands trembling as they wrote down numbers. She felt like a creature trapped in a cage. The soldier stood between her and the scientists. His voice was sharp. "She is not an experiment. She is alive because of me." The scientists looked at him, uneasy, but they could not deny what they had seen. The alien girl's body was becoming something new. Hours passed as they continued their tests. They found that her wounds had closed at a speed far faster than normal. Her cells were rebuilding stronger than before, and most shocking of all, her body had begun to create new patterns of energy. The machines detected waves of life force that mixed both human and alien traits. The soldier frowned as he listened. He did not understand the deep science, but he understood one thing: his blood had done more than heal her. It had unlocked something hidden, something her people never knew existed. The alien girl whispered, "Your blood, it burns inside me, but it also gives me strength. I feel alive, but not the same. I feel different." Her voice shook with both fear and wonder. The soldier leaned closer. "Different is not always bad." She looked into his eyes, searching for truth. But the fear inside her did not fade. She was no longer only herself. She was something else, something in between. That night, when the scientists left, the girl sat alone with the soldier. She touched her arm where the blood had entered. "My people will call this corruption," she whispered. "They will see me as broken, not saved." The human shook his head firmly. "No. They will see what I see. You are alive, and that is worth everything." Her heart trembled at his words. She had been taught to hate humans, taught to see them as enemies. But this man spoke with honesty. His voice carried no lies. He was ready to fight against even his own people to protect her. She felt warmth in her chest, but she did not know if it was her heart or the human blood changing her. The following days revealed even more. She no longer tired easily. Her senses became sharper. She could hear faint sounds far away. She could see clearly even in the dark. The soldier watched her carefully, amazed and worried at the same time. The transformation was undeniable. One evening, as the fires outside burned low, she asked him, "What if I lose myself? What if I am no longer me?" His reply was simple, "Then I will remind you who you are." His voice was steady, his gaze firm. She felt a strange comfort in his words, as if no matter what she became, he would not abandon her. But even as they spoke, shadows of danger grew. The scientists had reported their findings to higher command. Whispers spread among soldiers and officers. Some saw her as a miracle, others as a threat, and far away, her own people had begun searching for survivors of the battle. If they found her, they would not see her as saved. They would see her as tainted by human touch. The girl sat in silence that night, her hand pressed to her chest. She could feel the pulse of two worlds inside her, alien and human. Each beat was a reminder that she was no longer ordinary. Her fate had changed, and with it, the fate of both species might also change. The soldier sharpened his weapon nearby, his eyes never leaving her. He knew the storm was coming. He could sense it in the air. For now the girl was safe inside the shelter, But soon the truth of her blood would spread, and when it did, no one would ever see her the same again. In the quiet darkness, she whispered a final thought to herself. Your blood saved me, but it has also made me something new. She closed her glowing eyes, unaware that outside, both humans and aliens were already preparing for the day when they would come for her. And the soldier, watching her sleep, whispered to himself, this secret will either save us or destroy us all. The nights inside the ruined shelter grew long and heavy. Outside the war still raged, but in this hidden place, the world was strangely quiet. The human soldier kept watch, sharpening his blade or checking his rifle. The alien girl rested on the narrow bed, her body glowing faintly under the dim lights. Days passed, and with every sunrise she grew stronger. Her steps became steady, her voice clearer. Yet what surprised her the most was not her strength, but the man who stayed by her side. He never treated her as an enemy, never looked at her with hatred. Instead, he guarded her as if her life meant something more than orders. One evening, she spoke softly while he cleaned his weapon. Why do you not fear me? Her eyes glowed faint green as they searched his face. He looked up, calm but serious. Fear is easy, trust is harder. I choose the harder path. She tilted her head, confused. No one in her world had ever spoken like that. Her people believed humans were dangerous, unpredictable, yet this man was steady, firm, and strangely gentle. His words stayed in her mind long after silence returned. At night, when the fires outside flickered through cracks in the walls, she often asked questions. She wanted to know why humans fought so fiercely, why they refused to surrender even against stronger races. He told her stories of his people, of their small blue planet, of how they survived storms, wars, and hunger by standing together. His voice carried no pride, only truth. She listened with wonder. In return, she shared pieces of her own past. She spoke of her world, with its crystal towers and skies lit by twin moons. She told him about her people's pride, how they saw themselves as noble and pure, yet behind her words was sadness. She confessed how lonely she often felt, how she never fit among those who demanded perfection. The soldier listened quietly, never judging, never mocking. He only nodded, his eyes thoughtful. You are more than what they told you to be, he said once, and her heart trembled at those words. The bond between them grew slowly, built on shared silence as much as spoken words. Sometimes he would hand her water without asking. Sometimes she would cover his arm with a cloth when his old wounds bled. Small actions, yet powerful. Each moment tied them closer, but the changes inside her body could not be ignored. Each day her strength increased, her hearing sharpened, her vision stretched farther than human sight. She could lift heavy debris with little effort. She felt alive in ways she never imagined. And every time she looked at him, her heart beat faster. She wondered if it was her own feelings or the human blood creating this bond. One night, thunder rolled across the battlefield skies. The soldier sat near the doorway, watching the dark clouds. She approached him slowly, her bare feet silent on the floor. You saved me, she whispered. But what if I become something neither human nor alien? What if I lose myself? He turned to her, his eyes steady in the dim light. Then I will remind you who you are. His words struck her deeply. Her chest tightened. She wanted to believe him, wanted to trust that no matter what happened, she would not face it alone. For the first time since the battle, she smiled faintly. It was a small, fragile smile, but it lit her face like dawn. The soldier caught it, his own lips curving just slightly. The distance between them no longer felt like an endless void. It felt like a bridge slowly being built. The next morning, she found herself humming softly, a tune from her childhood. The soldier paused from his work, listening. What is that song? He asked. She hesitated, then said, It is from my world, sung to children before sleep. He nodded. It is beautiful. She looked down, hiding her smile. For once, she felt seen not as a soldier, not as an alien, but simply as herself. But outside, danger was growing. Rumors had reached the camps. Both humans and aliens had begun searching for survivors. Whispers spoke of an alien girl healed by human blood. Some called it a miracle, others a curse. The soldier knew their time in the shelter was running short. Yet as he watched her drink water, her silver hair falling softly around her glowing face, he could not help but think he would fight the world itself if it meant keeping her safe. That night, as she drifted into sleep, she whispered in her language, words he could not fully understand. But he caught the meaning in her tone. It was a word of gratitude, of trust, for the first time. She trusted a human more than her own kind, and as he sat in silence, his weapon across his knees, he realized something dangerous. He was no longer just protecting her because of duty. He was protecting her because she had become important to him. The bond between them was no longer just survival. It was the beginning of something deeper, something powerful, a connection written not only in words but in blood.